Tahir. So we have Tahir now in the house, and he's the life coach and consultant, also trainer in tactics for millionaires. And do I miss anything? You can you introduce a bit about yourself if some of friends maybe never had chance to meet you. Yeah?
Jen, thank you for that. No, that's a pretty good start. Basically, I'm a businessman as well, and investor big with properties and cryptocurrencies. And apart from being an author, I'm an international speaker trainer, and I'm designed to do troubleshootings and personal breakthroughs. So good to be on this interview. Would love to share.
Okay, so we're gonna learn a lot from Tahir today. Can you share what made you start your journey as now? Yeah.
Well, I started at a very early age of 17 on the path to making money, just like any teenager, or like most teenagers. I want to make money, and then when I went on the journey to making money, I realized there was a long way to personal development, and personal development became a part of living. Till today, I mean, I still learn, I still go to events and big seminars where I'm inspired by people who have made something out of nothing, and that journey should never stop.
So you're talking about consistent learning, and so can you share what made you decide to make it as a career, like choose that kind of particular industry as a career, because there's a lot of other careers out there.
True. I do not usually particularly think of what I do as a career, because that's what they teach us in jobs. This is your career and you should stick with it. And yet most people don't stick with one career if you look at it. I always encourage entrepreneurs to look at what they're passionate about. I mean, think of Steve Jobs. He started with Pixar animation before Apple happened. So, and he wasn't doing Apple as the CEO and career. He was doing it because he loved doing what he did. Mark Zuckerberg and many other great entrepreneurs. So my advice to the viewers is love what you do. If it's public speaking, then it is public speaking, but love what you do. If it's about empowering people, there are 100 ways to do that. Now, non-profit, charity, public speaking, personal development. So see what you're good in doing it, and then we take things forward from there.
So you mentioned about love what you do. What about if you don't love what you do? How can you find out that the thing that you love, and how can you keep that persistent or stay in that journey? Yeah.
Right. One of the biggest problems, and I don't like the word problems, so I call them challenges.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges people have is they think that when you say that you should love what you do, you should always love what you do. And the reality is, no matter which profession you are in, no matter which career you get into, no matter what you're passionate about, there will always be difficulties. So a lot of people think when I say love what you do, it will always be nice, smooth, right? It never is like that. You see, no matter what you do, you will always have ups and downs. If you're a parent listening to me, having a baby boy or a baby girl might have been the best things, but guess what? It comes with its own package, isn't it? It has ups and downs. So no matter what relationship you get into, whether it's business or personal, it comes with its ups and downs. Same with your professional life. So why will you not give up when majority of the people will say, oh my God, I can't do it, it's too hard, or they will convince themselves out of that particular situation? Why will you keep going? That's where passion, that's where love kicks in. For a lot of us, it's just like a baby love. We want to become a millionaire. Yeah, but when it comes to putting in the effort, they won't. When it comes to doing the research, they won't. So that's where you need to really internalize what is it that you love to do. So that's my primary objective. That and while you love what you do, remember you should be ready to get your hands dirty, because it is going to get dirty. I can tell you.
Okay, so can you share how did you define that passion, and how did you define your why, your purpose, right? You mentioned on the purpose, the why, and the passion. So how did you define that? Yeah.
Well, when I was told, and I'll tell you a very powerful statement I was told when I was a teenager, when your why gets defined, your how becomes easy. So when I heard this, I was like, what? When my why is defined, my
What is
how
the
is
why?
easy? And I struggled with it, and it took me a good 5 to 10 years to understand this statement,
Oh.
because I was like, it was how can I do this? How we usually go after the how, and the gurus in the world, they would teach you go after the why, because if you have a burning desire, then the how becomes easy. Then you're willing to learn, educate, be a speaker, go for the courses, build the soft skills, because we live in technology age where everything is available at the fingertips today. But if you do not have a why, if all you are after is how, you'll be too caught up in how without realizing what your actual why is. Today when I coach business owners, one of my first questions is, why do you do what you do? And majority of them have no clue, because they're like, you make money, become successful, and I'm like, why? So why important? Because if you don't have a strong why, you will give up very easily. Even if you're successful, it won't be a lasting success. It will be temporary.
Yeah, totally agree, and really thank you for sharing that. So your why help you to keep going, and you need to consistently connect with that. So how did you find your why? It's just a 5 to 10 years. So how was the journey, and what is your why? Can you share here?
Well, I'll start with what my why was. As a teenager, what did I want? I wanted to go to US at that time. I was living in Dubai. I wanted to get a good education, and I went and did it. After that, have good car, get a good house, and I went and did it. And then it hit me very hard when I became a millionaire when I was 27. That's it. You know, I'm a millionaire. It didn't feel as good as I think it should have felt.
Oh.
And that was a wake-up call, because 10 years I've been working hard to achieve what I wanted to achieve, and then I actually achieved financially what I wanted to achieve, and then yet I felt incomplete. And the reason was because my dreams were all about me.
Oh.
So the key is, never make your dream, your business about you. It should be bigger than that. And that should be your why. That is something that will wake you up. What wakes me up today in the morning is the fact that I can empower people. And I was blessed losing millions of dollars with the Wall Street collapse in 2009 to understand this. And I'm utterly grateful, and I wake up every day in the morning with passion, whose lives I'm going to change today. That's my why. So it took me a good 10 years to reach there. But nevertheless, your car, your house, your dreams are important, but dream bigger than that.
Do you have any kind of like influence that made you realize that, or you just internalize realizing?
Well, I realized that when I was spending a lot of time with people who didn't have a lot financially, and I realized some of them were so happy. While I was worried about my millions of dollars, they were so happy. They barely could have a decent meal in a day, and yet they were so happy. So studying human mind, I realized that money doesn't make you happy. A lot of us are of this misconception that if we have more money, if we make more income, we'll be more happier, we'll be more relaxed, we'll be more at peace. It's not true. I'm telling, some of you may not be happy to hear this, but it's not true. Yes, you need to have minimum wage to run your kitchen, but after that, you will get bored if you don't have a bigger one. So what made me realize was to see these underprivileged people be so happy with almost nothing. And when I studied them, it was all about in the moment and the state they lived in. So for me, the why became, is money the reason why someone is unhappy or not where they want to be in their life? Sure, I'll show you how to achieve that. And guess what? The number one thing is your mindset. It's not the opportunity. Most of us think it is the opportunity that's wrong. It's the mindset. The opportunities are everywhere. As we speak right now, Jen, millionaires are created. The opportunities are everywhere, and I'm about to go to sleep in a few minutes, while some of them will become millionaires. So it's the mindset where it all starts from. So my why started from there. I saw these underprivileged people being so happy, and I said, so you don't need a lot of money and good degrees to be happy. You can be happy right now where you are, and then once you feel complete inside, the outside becomes extremely powerful.
Wow, powerful. When it decided inside, it's gonna be decide outside. It will appear outside, right? So you need to feel fulfilled from inside, and then the outside gonna be fulfilled. So you mentioned on that that's powerful mention, but then do you think that it's kind of difficult for young people to realize that? Why? Because they're gonna say, okay, you like that, so you can speak like that. But so do you have any like kind of like tactics or the way to make them to realize maybe like sooner, or maybe to look at in the other way, because they still now maybe under pressure of getting the finance to survive or things like that? Yeah.
My advice to the younger generation, and before I give my advice, is at the age of 20, I was building $1 million business, teaching people how to build websites. Now this was in the year 2000 and 2001. So, and I was just 20 years old at that time. So my advice to the younger generation is, one of the reasons I was able to do that was because I had a good mentor. My book speaks about that. Find a mentor, find someone who inspires you. Even if you have a hard time to meet them, follow them. They are on YouTube, they are on Facebook. Find more about them and follow them. If they are in your city, be there. Don't give excuses. I have a job, I have this. Leave all that, follow them, because that's important. Why? Because you might have the opportunity. I had the opportunity. But if I didn't have a mentor who would kick my butt, I would be where I am, because I would have just settled. I would have just got distracted. Because that's what happens at a younger age. You would get settled. I mean, I remember making $1,000 a week, and I was like, party time, And my mentor said, no, you can do better. I'm like, come on, that's a lot of money for me. See, I could have got settled if I didn't have a mentor, and I wouldn't have had $1 million business. But he pushed me and pushed me and pushed me to a point where I went to $2,000, $3,000, even $4,000 a week, which I never in my dream imagined would be happening at the age of 21. So that's why a mentor is important. It's worth buying them lunch or dinner if they're in your town. So that's my advice for the younger generation. Get disciplined, get a mentor, follow them.
Oh yeah, lovely. So the success lip glue, right? So Jim Jones said that it's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. So you mentioned on mentors how important it is, and you said like you actually can, go and buy them dinner. Like it's so funny. Like rich people need to buy, but actually if you want to be rich, you need to buy them dinner. So how did you find your first mentor, and do you have any clues to help people to find a good mentor? Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a very simple way to do it, and I'll keep it very simple. I was invited to a presentation in Dubai, and I was a student. I was a college student at that time, and the person on the stage was making about $4,000 a month. And I'm like, okay, I was making $0 a month, and this guy makes $4,000 a month. And I want to be a software engineer who would make about $4,000 a month, but this guy did it quite easily, I would say. So I'm like, okay, I'll start with that guy. I want to sit down with him. I want to know more about him, his family, what he does, how did he make his, exactly what are you doing with me now for your audience. And I sat down, I took the time, energy, effort, because I can't sit down with him at my convenience. I sat down with him at his convenience. And from there, I got the next mentor. And when you take your first step, the second happens, and then the third happens, and then the next door opened. Then I found someone else from there to become my next mentor to guide me. But that was the starting point. If you're not in those meetings, you should be in those meetings, first of all. And when you're in those meetings and you like someone, don't be shy. Approach them, say you love and you want to hear more about their success story. Ask them if they can teach you, guide you, mentor you. Point blank. If they charge you money, ask them if they've written a book, because books are cheaper if you can't afford it. And if you can afford it, be a part of their mentorship program, because once your heart is connected with it, sky is the limit.
Wow, powerful. So is there no excuses for anyone, right? If you don't, let's say they say that you don't have investment, go and buy the book. You cannot. You just go to watch them on YouTube or on social media. You cannot have any excuses. And you mentioned in the book, and you had a book. You have written a book. So can you share a bit about that, and what is the best message that you can share from that book? Yeah.
Well, the book is called The Unstoppable Millionaire, and it talks about how to become rich and how to become unstoppable.
Yeah.
But first how to become unstoppable, and then how to become rich.
Yeah.
So the book has 9 simple steps to stay undefeated. Because once you become undefeated, there's nothing in the world that can beat you. So in that book, I share every single secret possible, the core fundamentals that made me achieve my first million, and then my second, and then my third, and then my fourth million. It's the cheapest way to get the information, because it's on Amazon. It's about $30, I think. You can check it on Amazon. But that's what the book does. And 9 simple steps. I'm not going to give you 100 ways to do things. 9 simple steps on how to do things to get your financial life in order. A lot to do with your personal development life, because your financial life is built on your personal development life. Remember that. It's not built on the opportunities you get. It's built on your personal development life. So that's the secret. 9 ways. If I start sharing all of them, it will be a very long video call. But get hold of that book. Go through the preview on Amazon. Read through a few pages, and you might find it very interesting.
Yeah, so I will put a link on our video. So you had some kind of like time to read some books before that inspire you before that. So what was the book that changed your life and made you learn a lot and change your mindset? Yeah.
The biggest book that influenced me the most was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay, what was the thing that you learned from that book that you think beneficial for you the most? Yeah.
Now, when I read it the first time, I was like, what is he talking about? You know, what?
Yeah, that's so true. Everyone say the same. Everyone the first time read like, what's that?
So he talks about financial philosophy, which no one in our school teaches us.
Yes.
That's why our mind cannot comprehend. But I've read that book, I think about 6 or 7 times, and the second, the third time, it started making sense.
Oh.
It made the most sense when I became a millionaire. I didn't even read the book at that time, but I could recall the book and said, so he said that once you start making money, you will make so much money in abundance, you would wonder where all this money was hiding. He's right. For 10 years, I was like hiding.
And actually, it's not hiding. You're not seeing it.
No, it's everywhere around us. We fail to see it.
So what was your biggest mindset shift?
My philosophy on money. My philosophy on looking at things. My philosophy was a typical school student who would be scared of failing, who would be scared of getting rejected, who would be scared to take one step outside the box, because people would mock at me, people would make fun of me. Think and Grow Rich allowed me to understand money differently. Said, hey, it's going to happen. And if it's going to happen, you do it with honor. So that's a nice way to do it. And when a third person says the things that happen in your life, you are like, okay, let me give it a try. and it worked. So that's my. If you haven't read this book, this is for your audience, Jen. Get hold of that book, and if it doesn't make sense the first time, no problem. Read it the second time, the third time. I promise you, if you don't give up, this book will make a huge impact in your life.
Yeah, and if you have read a lot of time and you're not achieved, which means you have not taken enough action. I think, yeah, that's the case. I read a lot of time, but I think you're not taking enough action towards that goal. Okay, beautiful thing, Grow Rich, and also your book like Unstoppable. So you mentioned about to be undefeatable, and can you share maybe one experience that made you become like undefeatable, to turn from defeat to become success? Can you share one experience?
Yeah, absolutely. A very precious thing we all have, no matter what our life path or destination is, no matter whether we have succeeded or failed, is life itself. I've realized that you and I breathing today, living in this world, was not by coincidence, because life prevailed. And if you understand the entire process of how we were consumed and then born, itself shows that we beaten through all the odds to breathe the first breath. And that's beauty, the birth within itself. So I believe we were all born as champions. But as we grow, our schooling system, our education system teaches us failing is bad, and we start getting demoralized day by day. I believe no one in the world has the right to do that to us. If that was true, none of us would be walking, because we failed so many times walking. But we as kids didn't care. We still would get up no matter how many times we got hurt, and we would walk. Imagine if someone at that time told us failing is bad, getting hurt is bad, falling down is bad. We all would be crawling by now, not walking, right?
Yeah.
So go back to that kid that you were, and that's what I did with myself. That tap into the true power that you had when you were 5 years old or 10 years old. You were unbeatable because you wouldn't take no for an answer. Look at a kid.
Who could have stopped them when they try to walk?
Exactly. And why? Because how we are born, that's life.
Yeah.
And then we go with the society, the culture, how we should behave and all that. And we start adopting and saying, okay, we cannot do this, we should not do this, that will not work. Why? Says who? So every genius has gone through this phase, and once you realize that you breathing today is a miracle, it is a miracle. And once you realize that you won't have this, now if you think it's not a miracle, go to a hospital right now. Find out someone who is struggling hard to breathe. Ask them what one breath feels like, and then ask yourself, if you're breathing, that's a miracle. Now, what are you doing with this miracle in your life? The feeling of empowerment should make you unstoppable. Because I can promise you, if you're not living the life you are supposed to live, and you would know that in your heart, then guess what? You're not doing that needs to be done. Because you fear losing, you fear rejection, you have some kind of a fear. Only you can eliminate that. We can help you as coaches, but only you can eliminate that. So I want you to live to your true potential.
So you mentioned on that true potential, and you gave like really great solution that we think back like with a kid and keep trying and not fear of rejection. So how did you define your fear? What were your biggest fear before, and how did you overcome that? And how can we define that, and how can we eliminate that fear?
There are many forms and methods of elimination. I'm a huge learner. I believe in education, Jen. So I've been with people like, learned from people like Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, Bob Proctor. I would be in their seminars and pay a couple of $1,000 to do walk on fire and learn from Les Brown how to do speaking assignments and Robert Kiyosaki on how to do investments. So this is important because a lot of people say, oh my God, so expensive, and that's a poor mindset. Was I born rich? No, I come from a very humble family background. I would gather all the money, I would eat little so I can go and learn because I believed in these people, right? So I want you to do that, and I want you to stop thinking about I don't have the time, I don't have the money. If you don't have the time or the money, how will you learn? How will you move forward? Because if you're not happy with your life right now, you have to make some changes. You have to make some sacrifices. I did that, Jim. I went to London, and I was in London in 2004 doing a walk on fire with Tony Robbins. And I was like, really, I could walk on fire, 3,000 degrees centigrade burning coal? Yes. And I walked on it. You know, that feels like 4 years later, I made my first $1 million. How about that? Was spending £1,000 or I don't know, 800 pounds worth it? You bet. It was worth every single penny, right? So I think that's the message, that just go and get educated. And if you feel you can't, open YouTube. All these amazing people
Okay, lovely.
My second message is important. After you have seen those videos, you know what to do. Do it.
Yeah.
Take action.
Yeah.
The biggest difference that a successful people and an unsuccessful person has is action. Because guess what? A successful person doesn't care about failing. He or she will take action again and again and again till they make it happen, or while in the process of making it happen. So don't fear failure. Do it anyways. Take action. You've learned something. Go and implement it. That's it. As simple as that. I learned real estate informally when I made my millions in the real estate market. I didn't do degree courses. I did degree courses after 4 years of being in real estate because it was mandatory in Dubai. But till then I didn't. But I'd already made my millions because I took action. So I think that's the key. You take action.
Okay, so did you have a moment that you didn't feel taking action, and how did you kick your butt to take action?
Well, it's very hard to kick your own butt. So have an accountability partner. In my case, my mentors.
Oh, your mentor.
Yeah.
Okay, what about your networking? Do you have any advice for networking? Because how many people you are surrounded and how they are influence on how you are. That's what people don't normally talk about. So
okay. I'll give you a fundamental rule of networking, right?
Yep.
The rule is, and listen carefully, you are the average sum of the 5 people you spend your time with. 5 people. So, for example, if I spend my time with Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Tony Robbins, Mark Zuckerberg, chances are I will be a billionaire.
Oh, you sort of gonna be some big influences like them, yeah.
Right? So the reason I give example is to understand networking. As a human being, you can only meet these many people. So when you network, do it from your heart. Care about other person. The best part about networking is listen. The second best part about networking is listen. And the third best thing about networking is listen. You will be amazed, and listen with your heart, not while you're on your smartphone, with your heart, and help. The fourth thing is help. If you have the power or the position to help or work with them. Now you're not focusing on sales. Now you're not focusing on what is in it for you. You're focusing on them. Very few people in the world do this. And if you can build this habit of giving and not taking, guess what? It will come to you in leaps and bounds. And I didn't say this, it's in Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
It's in Think and Grow Rich. Be a giver. You will be amazed at how much you can receive.
Okay. Okay, lovely. So how did you find your five people?
I've got a constant struggle, and I'll give you a quote. Jim Rohn, one of my mentors, he said that if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So, so I took that advice very seriously, and that's one of the reasons why I've been with millionaires, multi-millionaires, U.S. senators, billionaires, and the reason, Jen, is it's not hard. It's not easy to be with people like these in the same room. You have to start somewhere. So you cannot be the smartest and the richest person in the room. I don't care how much money you've made. Because if you're in that room, then you're not learning, you're not growing. Always push yourself. Go to the next level. If you haven't done a million, surround yourself with millionaires. Be in some of the conferences where millionaires are. And that's the key. Now, some of your friends might feel left out. So what?
It's less now, and yeah, you need to go. Yes. Wow. Okay, beautiful. So we talk about networking, and we talk about. So let's talk about your mentor. Yeah. So what about mentees? Do you think that you also get benefits from mentoring people? And what is the main benefit? Because it's also somehow some kind of giving. Yeah?
True. Now, as a mentor, I'm always surprised with my mentees. I had a 16-year-old kid who comes up to me and says, given his family circumstances, he's actually building a business. And now at the age of, he's now 18, he actually owns an IT company in South Africa. So sometimes you get surprised and pretty energized by some of your mentees, because when you see the spark and the fire in them and the good your experience and knowledge can do to make the world a better place, at least I sleep peacefully at night.
Yeah, lovely. Do you think that, like, if you're really successful and you probably mentor somebody that started, do you feel that, how can you close that gap? Because probably you would feel that person probably, oh, why he not doing that? He's just like so slowly, or maybe he just, why he not changing the mindset? So because you are really like a big gap between the achievement of you and the person. So how can you actually like, kind of like balance, or slowly, or approach in a way suitable to the person?
I don't believe in slow, by the way. I never believed in slow. I believe changes happen in moments, and I'll give you the example of one of my mentees who was not my mentee at that time. I had one person in South Africa. He came to me. He didn't have, I think, $99 for a one-day workshop. Or no, it was not even a workshop. It was just my talk for 2 hours, and I gifted him my workshop. I told him, I just asked him one question: why do you want to do it? Just go and do something else. Then he explained me how badly he wants, and he was in tears. And I said, okay, here's my workbook. Go study. I'll ask you questions. If it's good, then you can sit for, forget my 2-hour talk. You can sit for my one-day workshop. I won't charge you a single cent. He did his homework. He was having a family commitment. His wife was upset in that moment, but he said he needs to do it. And those few hours, that one day, today that guy I think owns 2 different companies in South Africa. His family life, his love life, he has 2 amazing kids. Everything changed, because I believe that your life can change in moments. And if your why is strong, I'll always say that again, if your why is strong, if you are a go-getter, the how wouldn't matter, you will do it.
Wow, thank you for sharing that example. It's about commitment, right?
Yeah.
Commitment to your why is a big reason. So we talk about mentoring, we talk about mentee. So when you started mentoring people, and maybe you mentor somebody like really huge and big, for example, that really the person is really successful, have you had that kind of feeling that you're like, oh, that person is so good? So do you have that kind of limiting belief? And how can you realize it and eliminate it? Yeah.
I've been mentoring for a good 7 years now, or maybe more. I'm doing it as a profession for the last 3 years. I've met amazing human beings, Jen. I've met non-profit organization workers, corporate CEOs, million-dollar companies, multi-million dollar companies, doctors, engineers, lawyers. In fact, one of the athletes, top 100 tennis players, totally burned out. Top 100 tennis players totally burned out on a personal development, and I was like, I never discriminate people based on my life circumstances, because that is not a good thing. Because of that, I don't think if I mentor someone who is better than me makes any difference, because always remember you have so much to give. I'm not going to teach the top 100 tennis player how to play better tennis. I cannot do that. But on personal development, on a psychological, emotional, and on the mindset level, I was able to coach and mentor that person and take and then help him impact his life to a point where he even got married, he's settled, and an amazing success life story he has built just in 6 to 8 months of mentoring. So as I say, some of my students are absolutely amazing. All we do is trigger and show them their true potential. That's all what we do in coaching, by helping them eliminate the barriers that they had built for themselves, and magic happens. Yes.
Oh, thank you for sharing that, because it means that if you focus on the service and helping people, no matter, you don't see the barriers and you just see the true potential. So can you share maybe 3 top tactics or habits for young entrepreneur millionaires, and three habits before we say goodbye to you today? Yeah.
Absolutely, Jen. 3 simple things, especially for the young youth entrepreneurs, is don't worry so much about changing the world. I learned this from Sir Richard Branson. It's important to play your part in changing the world, but a lot of entrepreneurs say, I'm going to build a concept, I'm going to build an idea, I'm going to build a company that's going to change the world. Now, you cannot change the world if you cannot change your own life circumstances. So start with you. Now, a lot of us think, start with me, that's very selfish. It's not. I learned this from Robert Kiyosaki. The first person you pay is you. Yes, because if you go down, everything goes down. So you need to survive, you need to breathe. It's like when you're in a plane watching the safety video. The oxygen mask, what do they say? Well, if in case of emergency, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on anyone else. Why? Because if you die, you can't help anyone save. For entrepreneurship, help change and create the life circumstances you would be happy to live in. Stop changing the world first. Contribute to the world. Be nice to people, but change in yourself first. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2. A lot of young entrepreneurs get distracted. Be disciplined. Now, usually if you're good in studies, you're disciplined. But a lot of entrepreneurs are not good in studies. As Sir Richard Branson said, they're lazy people. So get disciplined. Very important. So you can't be jumping from one idea and concept or a company to the other. Stick. Times will get tough. Stick. Very important. The easiest thing is to give up. Anyone can give up. It takes some serious courage to stick around and become unstoppable. So that's number 2. Stick around. Rule number 3. No matter what business you do, always ask one question. How is my business making the world a better place? As a product, as a service. How is it doing that? A lot of us go into business and entrepreneurship thinking, how much money are we going to make? The moment your business becomes all about money, you've just lost. Why? Because your business won't last long. So 3 points. Just do these, and it won't be easy, first of all, because
Take
people
years.
But once you get doing it, once you get a hang of it, you will feel that these will be the three most priceless things you would have ever done for yourself, for the people you love and care, and for this world.
Wow, powerful. Start from the inside out and then serving. Okay, so can you share the last, so we said the last, your routines in the morning or evening? Is anything that somehow contribute to your productivity or high performance? Yeah.
Very good question, Jen. I hate routines. Number one is no routines. The moment you get a routine, you are now in a box.
Oh.
Right? And if I do get in a routine, like sleeping at 12 o'clock at night, waking up at 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, I will break that routine on purpose. If I'm working, I'll break that routine on purpose and say, all right, I'm in Malaysia right now, in Malaysia. Can I see a waterfall? Can I see a mountain? Can I be on the beach? And if that means I need to take a flight, I'll do it. If that means I need to drive, I'll do it. The reason is because it's very important not to get stuck in a routine, because once you do that, and even if you're doing it successfully, you get too comfortable doing it. And I've stopped doing that for a while now. Now, initially when you start a business as an entrepreneur, it might be difficult, but it's important you take your time off. The key is never to get in a routine. Now, don't get me wrong. That does not mean that you should go chilling and forget the business completely. No. That means that even when you're not in your routine, you get the job done.
Powerful. I think like it's like about addiction. Some people are addicted to drug or alcohol, but some like so addicted to the routine or habit, and if they out of that, they cannot get things done. So it's about flexibility and mobility. It's powerful. I think it takes time to really actually transfer to that area. But then yeah, that's need to be kept in mind. That's 100% true. Yeah. All right. Cool. You any other thing that you want to share today? Maybe we have another chance to talk with Tahir, but yeah. Have any other things?
I think, Jen, I think we shared a lot for your audience today. Let them digest and
okay.
let them ask questions on the website or the blog, wherever the video is, and then we take it from there. I think so good.
Lovely. So I put your detail, and if anyone want to reach out to Tahir and his book, welcome. And then take action and make a change, make an impact. So thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Yes, see you.
See you then.
Thanks for watching, my friends, and don't forget to support the channel by subscribing so I can share with you more tools and techniques in the next videos, and put all the tools and techniques into practice to advance your life, and share with us what are your tips. And download this guide, One Page Achiever, the tool to help you to plan your day, take control of your day to increase your productivity. And make sure you grab my book, Non-Stop Loving, Living and Giving Every Single Moment of Life. Beautiful story about my sibling, and the Goal Achiever, the ultimate 9 steps to help you to achieve a personal goal, particularly a full scholarship. And this guide unleash your passion to help you free your mind, free your doubts, free your fears, free your limiting beliefs, to live with passion, with vibrant, with full potential every moment of life. I see you in the next videos. Don't forget to non-stop living meaningfully, loving openly, and giving joyfully every moment of life. Love you.